Today I want to talk to you about the election that's coming up, the presidential election. And everybody's talking about how important this election is. I don't think that this election is any more or less important than any other election that we've had to this point, because all elections are important. You're choosing the president of the United States, and you're giving him the power, the authority to make decisions, to make policies that will take the country in a certain direction. That could be a good, positive direction, or it could be the wrong direction. So this is an important election like all of the rest of them are. Today I want to tell you who I voted for in the last election, and then bring you up to the speed to the current election and let you know who I'm voting for in this election. And then I'll give you the three biggest issues, the most critical issues to me as a regular citizen here in the United States of America. So let's get into it. Let's start with the last election. I voted for President Joe Biden, and I voted for him based off of my thinking that at that time we needed someone who could unite America. I thought that Joe Biden had the ability, he had the experience, he had relationships on both sides of the aisle, and he was the person that could unite America. Fast forward to where we are right now, and we are no more united now than we were 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And that's because I believe now that we are not going to be united by a president. It takes bad things, unfortunately, to happen for America to be united. For example, 9/11, everybody is united because America is under attack. When you have wars, same thing. You have unification for a period of time, but then it just returns to where it was before. I think it's called a reversion to the means. It reverts back to where it always has been, and that's division. And I think that's because it's a melting pot. And there are so many different people here. There are different people, different groups of people with different agendas. And when those agendas are not always serviced, there can be some people that are disgruntled. That's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. Now, moving on to the three biggest issues that are most important to me. Even though I'm concerned about domestic issues, this is more so issues that are related to the world stage. Domestic issues like inflation, abortion, men competing against women in women's sports. Those are problems, things that I have serious problems with. But I'm more so concerned right now about how America is viewed on the world stage. My number one issue is de-dollarization. I see that there are countries out there, the BRICS Alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and other nations that are considering joining the BRICS Alliance. It seems as if they are moving away from the dollar. I think that has to do with foreign policy, America's foreign policy, and how it deals with countries that don't go along with the program and how it sanctions those countries. And it makes it hard for them to access capital. And these countries are saying now that they have to get some independence from the dollar, get away from the dollar, get a new currency. So I'm really concerned about that and what the new president will do to address this issue. I've heard Trump say that if America loses the world currency status, her reserve currency status, then we could look like a third world country. So I'm really concerned about de-dollarization. That's probably my number one issue. Number 1A is the national debt. America is over $30 trillion in debt. And that debt continues to balloon. I don't think either side, Republicans or Democrat, make enough steps in the right direction to get the debt under control. So I'm really concerned about where America is, where the debt is, and the plan going forward to decrease the national debt. You know, the plans that I hear are all about adding to the debt. How do we decrease the debt? Because I think that's going to continue to be a problem and become a bigger problem as we move forward. It could even be a problem for our generation, but certainly it seems as it's going to cause problems for the generations after us, our children, our grandchildren. So I'm very concerned about that. Last is how other countries, other leaders view America. Do they respect America as they once did? I don't think America is as respected as she was. I think that we need a president to put this country on the right path, to understand that things are not like what they used to be. And sometimes it takes negotiation instead of just coming in and trying to overwhelm people with power. Sometimes it takes somebody that knows how to go in and negotiate deals. So I think the president needs to be a person that can do that. With that said, that moves me to who I am voting for in this year's election. I am voting for Donald Trump. And I'm voting for Trump because I believe that he's the most qualified person between these two candidates to address the serious issues that America is currently facing. I don't think this is about a turn. I don't think this is about going out and saying, hey, let's go in and put the first black woman or the first woman of color into office. This ain't about turns. This is about who is most qualified right now to take our country in a different direction. Because if you can look at it right now and say it's on the right track, I would ask you to make a good argument for that, right? If you look at inflation, if you look at interest rates, if you take a look at where we are right now as compared to where we were 4 years ago, can you really say that we're on the right track? I can't, which is why I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. If I voted for Harris, I think it would be a continuation of Joe Biden's current policies, and I am not a believer in those policies. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I think it's really important to vote for who you think is the most qualified person based on your own values, based on what you think is important as far as the issues are concerned. And don't let anybody sway you. This video is not made so that you'll vote like I vote. It's made so that you can say, hey, now when it's my turn, how am I going to vote? I heard somebody else say they're going to do it this way. How do I want to do it? It's important to vote. It's important to make sure that your voice is heard and vote for the person that you are most comfortable with based on what you see and what you believe, how you believe it is to be. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. As always, see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded.